It for good. Okay, let's take a moment to settle ourselves, to pause. And so we feel ourselves here in the same space, but new and fresh and ready to experience and exchange information about our center, all the behind the scenes and the exciting plans before us. We thank you, God, for the abundance, for the resources that continue to allow our community to thrive in so many ways. For our leaders, our staff, our board, for all those who are sharing with us today and all those who continue to serve us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Divine presence and the wisdom and love that guides us. And so it is. Amen.
Look, I wore my big girl boots and I'm still not tall enough. Okay, so I wanted to start off. I know you all met us last week, but just a quick introduction of the board. So if y'all could just stand up. I know we're missing Tricia. So just our board: Kristen, Susan's the vice president, Carl's treasurer, and there's Scott. He's our secretary. He takes awesome notes, and then everybody else. You all know us. And so we're going to go straight into our, is somebody up in the booth doing the slides? Oh, there he is. Can you just pop the agenda up real quick? Okay. So we're getting ready to start with our financial review. And so if you can just go to our next slide for Carl. Well, next one, that one. Thank you.
So we had a great year, and I would say that as we cruised into the fall, it wasn't concerned, but we were running a little behind where we had planned to be at that point in the year. But there was an amazing outpouring of shared abundance through the month of December by everybody. And we far exceeded where we had planned to be at the beginning of the year by the time we got to the end of the year. And I can't thank everybody here and everybody who's not here who participated in that or is just part of this community for that outpouring of giving. That makes all the difference, because what it does is allow us to do the things that we as a board want to do for the benefit of all, and that you want to do to make this a thriving congregation, and doing things that are on our mind, but we say, well, do we have the money? Well, we'll make the money to make the things happen that we need to have happen. So I won't go into a lot of details today. What I would like to offer, what we did a year ago, is some Sunday, perhaps in later February, have people come in stay at 1 o'clock, and we'll do a more in-depth financial review for those who are interested, really understand how the, excuse me, how something down here. So we'll announce that later on if we choose to do that, and see who wants to show up, and we can go through things in detail. I didn't want to kill a tree making a lot of copies of something today, but I did make a very kind of a mini balance sheet and profit and loss statement. I think maybe by show of hands of those who are interested, I'll have some available next week. We can hand them out, but I don't want 50 copies and I only need 4, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And if you want to come to that financial review, if you want to learn more about our finances and really what goes into our budgeting process and everything else, we'll be glad to talk about it and share it all with you, because it's our congregation. This isn't the board's, this is everybody's. And so my biggest thing to you guys is thank you. As a treasurer of this organization, thank you for everything, for everybody, for being who you are. Thanks a lot.
Can you go to the next one, please? So I did just list out some of our key highlights for last year. Key highlights. Next one. That's it. Perfect. Oh, I can't walk and talk, and I can bring it, and I can't read that. So while if you looked at our prior numbers, we were 3% under budget on income, but we were also 7% under budget on our expenses. So we kept expenses down. We're really able to make up, and that's how I ended up with a $21,000 positive cash flow at the end of the year. And then on average, our average Love in Action monthly offering went up by 3% over the course of the year. That was good. Our attendance went up from 180 last year on average to 195. So that was an improvement. And then, as Carl said, we had a record-breaking December, and really from the bottom of our hearts, whether you gave a little or a lot, we are so appreciative of everything that y'all have done to support our center, and we are really super grateful. Okay. We have a little snafu. There was going to be a Unity Connects demo and a little technical difficulty, but Felicia's going to come up and say a little something about getting your year-end forms.
Well, thank you so much for all your giving this past year. It really helps our center to operate smoothly. And if you don't know me, I'm Felicia McBarton. I'm Reverend Kristen's assistant and the ministerial assistant. I kind of like to think of myself as the person I make sure that the trains don't connect, don't run into each other. So I'm kind of like the operations magician behind the scenes. And this year, along with the idea of trying to keep our expenses down, we're going to ask all of you if you can please go to Unity Connects to pull up your giving statement, and you can print it from there. We were planning on doing a demo on how to actually go through the steps, but we're having some technical difficulties. So at the back of the room, we have this guide, and it takes you through step by step how to go through to log into Unity Connects, and then once you're on Unity Connects, how you can find the tabs to be able to get to your statement. And if you have any questions, I'm here Tuesday through Friday. Would be glad to walk you through it. If you don't have access to a computer at home or you don't have a printer, please call and we'll put your name on a list, and within 5 days I'll go through and I'll pull up your statement, and I can either email it to you or I can mail it to you. So if you already know right now, okay, I don't want to have to do this, please, Felicia, do it for me. At the back of the room, we have a sign-up sheet. So if you can just sign up, and I'll be glad to help you through it, to walk you through the steps, or just to go ahead and just print it for you and mail it to you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. The next thing is not my thing, but I'm covering it. So I forgot my notes and I had to go home and get them. So the next one we wanted to talk about is the Unity Earth Care team. That's a new team that is going to be led by Tom Kelly. And we actually have started the process. I don't know if you can read that or not. But we started the process. We filed with Unity Worldwide Ministries. And what the Earth Care team is, it's a program that was established by UWM to really focus earth-oriented spirituality into our chapters. We are in the process of assembling a team and coming up with our mission statement and our covenant. Some of the ways that we anticipate that we can make a difference is through an environmental and energy audit, energy and water conservation, which the labyrinth will take up some of our lawn space, recycling, waste minimization, conserving our national resources, and mindful eating, social justice. So there are going to be lots of ways to get involved. Tom will actually be on the patio after services next weekend to talk more about the program and let you know how you can get involved. And the first step is going to be assembling that team for our community. So if you have any questions, Tom will be out on the patio next Sunday after both services with information and sign-up sheets.
We can join up then
Yes. Okay, Jerry, it's you. Jerry's going to talk a little bit about the connections team.
I don't know if I will or not. Here we go. I'm Jerry Berry. I'm part of the connection team, and I didn't need a stool, though I have found out that I've lost 2 inches of height in the last 10 years. That was a shock. And that has nothing to do with the connection team, but you just found out something about me that you didn't know. And that's what we're kind of all about. I'm here to encourage you all to take the 10-minute commitment. These flyers are out. They're supposed to be out there in the foyer. There is maybe 1 or 2 left. I'm here just to ask you to join us in making the 10-minute connection after a meeting, after a workshop, our special events, to talk to someone that you don't know, especially someone who's new here to Unity. Get to know them, tell them why you come, ask them why they're here, invite them to things. And also, and I know this really directly for me, that you may have been seeing me and I've been seeing you, but I probably haven't talked to a great, maybe even 2/3 of you in this room. So make sure you connect with the people that are here as well. It's really encouraging when you see people come back, but it's really warm to the heart for myself. I get a lot when I talk to someone I don't know and get out of my comfort zone. Thank you.
So we're going to do an update on projects now. The first is the Labyrinth project, and Kristen will come up and. I don't see Nancy. Oh, there she is.
Come on up with me. I know you're trying to sneak over there, but. So, and Jerry, I was just going to say, maybe you could put that one that you have on the back table just so people that are curious about it could read it on their way out, and we'll have more copies available for folks on the 10-minute connection. So this is really, really exciting. You know, we talked about having a labyrinth. We dreamed about having a labyrinth. We're getting close to starting to really have a labyrinth. Yeah, I know. It's very exciting, isn't it? So I want to acknowledge the team. Nancy Lojacano has, I think about St. Francis was known as the reluctant saint. I think Nancy has become the reluctant leader. She just has a natural chutzpah, whatever it is that you need to lead, and commitment and dedication, and she's done a ton of research for us. And I know Chris Gomes has been helping quite a bit with all of that. She's been co-leading with Nancy. We've also had Michelle Chikala on the team. Well, actually, if you're on the team, why don't you stand? That would probably be simpler. Charlene is on the team. Mike, I don't know where he went, but he's on the team. We also have David Peterson and Andy, Trey, Keegan, Charles, Rick Stober. I don't see Rick. I see Sandy, no Rick. But anyway, yeah. So we've got a great team that have been designing and learning and gathering information. And Nancy's going to we're at that point where now we need your help. We need your help in a lot of different ways. So there's a bunch of sign-up sheets on the back table for the different phases, and Nancy's going to walk you through what the phases are, and then I'll follow up with that. So why don't you walk us through the phases first? Yes.
Okay. Has anybody seen the movie Field of Dreams? Yes. Okay. I love that movie. And somehow there's a connection here, I think. If you build it, they will come. And this will be really embedding spirituality in this community, in the earth. So to me, that's what's driving me, the opportunity to create something with all of you wonderful people and this wonderful community, which I just reconnected with last year, and the passion of creating something beautiful too. That's in my blood. My father was a contractor, and I'm into the arts, so this is everything wrapped up into that, and I hope everybody gets involved as much as they can. So the first slide, this is a really rough overview, quick overview. We're going to take our turf and we're going to draw out the line of the circle and we're going to excavate. We have to take out probably 5 to 7 inches of earth. And then that gets compacted. And then we have to fill with a base rock of some sort, and we'll fill that in. That again gets compacted. And then we go into the phase of probably we may incorporate an expert to help us with the actual layout of the labyrinth design so that we maintain the sacred geometry. And then after that, so we will have the pattern laid out, and we are planning at this point on using brick pavers for the lines, and the pathways will more than likely be what is called many number different things. I like to call it gold dust. You'll hear it called fines, decomposed granite, all kinds. But the pathways will be compacted granite of some sort or gold dust so that they're firm enough to make it accessible. And then there's a lot of detail in the center. There's some detail on the edges in the center. So all that gets to happen. We fill in between the bricks with the gold dust. And the one, let's see, it would be on the left is pretty much what I think ours is going to look like, except instead of gray in the middle, it's going to be more of a nice, warm, kind of soft gold. Not bright, but... And the right picture is just an overview. And the last picture, we are hoping to use bricks, and we're hoping to find a brick, though, that's a little more earthy and not so straight-lined and a little more texture and color in it. But it should look similar to this. So there's opportunity for a lot more creativity and beauty and quality of build. The more people get in touch, even if it's just to lend your expertise. We need that. And we'll need craftsmen. Thank you. Craftspeople.
So all of those phases that Nancy just walked us through, we need volunteers for. And even beforehand, as we are still procuring the materials and all of that. So there's 4 sign-up sheets back there, not to confuse, but one is like, if you want to join the team now, as helpers to get everything together. And then phase 1, if you want to help dig out the sod and shovel dirt, and it says on the sign-up sheet what you would be doing. If you want to shovel gravel, or if you want to be in the community build, just the community build phase of laying the brick and filling in, or all of it. So it has approximate dates, but what we're shooting for is that on Sunday, the 23rd of February, so coming up very quick, after services, that we'll have we'll break the dirt. So we'll have a groundbreaking ceremony to initiate the process. And David Brooks has a question. Oh, such a good question. Okay, so I want to assure you, too, this has been quite a process. So we've been meeting for a long time, since last fall. And in our early meetings, the team walked the grounds. We really considered, we had already had the local labyrinth, well, she's worldwide labyrinth expert, Reverend Lauren Artris, who lives nearby and was responsible for the Chart-style labyrinth at Grace Cathedral. So she has been consulting with us and we really looked at all the options, and really there weren't a lot of options for a sizable labyrinth except for right up here near the peace tiles or right in the middle of our lawn. So we opted for right up here near the peace tiles. It really has already got kind of a bit of a privacy feeling and a beauty landscaped around, so we'll cut into the landscape a little bit, but not a lot, and eventually re-landscape the front end in. So the path will come right in right out here, 10 feet away from our entrance. You can get on the path into the labyrinth. About 10 feet in, you start the walk. We've decided on that last one, it's a Chart style, but it's called a Chart Essence, which means that instead of 11 circuits, 11 of those windy pathways, there's 7, and they maintain the sacred geometry by taking the inner 2 out and the outer 2, and then it's still 7, and it's still got all the integrity of the Chart style. So we're really, really excited about this. So as I mentioned, we can use your help, lots and lots of volunteers and expertise and just willing hands and strong backs or cheerleaders or, there's lots of ways you could be involved. So look at those sign-up sheets. And also, it costs something. Imagine that. So it looks like from all of our figuring to date that we're looking at something like $13,000. And that's, including everything we're imagining. So maybe we'll even come in under that, but that's what we're shooting for. So that's another way that you can help us, is that we're ready, the board is ready to receive designated funds for the Labyrinth project. So if you can give above and beyond all of the generous giving you're already giving to, or if this is a project that really calls to your heart, please just memo your gifts with Labyrinth Project or Labyrinth Love or Labyrinth. We'll know what you're talking about, and that will really help get this off the ground as well, or on the ground, in the ground. Anyway, we're very excited, and it's going to be lovely to have this prayerful walking journey available to us right here on the lawn, and bring forth other community.
How do you spell labyrinth?
Labyrintth. I've been looking at the word for a lot of months. That was a spelling bee. Any other questions about that? I think we're going to have some final time for questions, but we'll take one more for now. Yeah.
So how many in our area here? Is this our first one in like Cocoa County or the?
Oh no, there actually are quite a few, and you can go on labyrinthlocator.com, which is part of Lauren's website, and you can see them all over the place. In fact, the team, that's part of our research, is we've been going out and walking different labyrinths to get a feel for what kind of design and materials we liked. So soon we will be on the Labyrinth Locator, but not until it's really here. So, yeah, thank you.
Okay. So I just wanted to bring you up to date on a couple of the smaller projects that we've got going on. Now that we know that our downstairs, closer? Okay. So now that we have our water situation, our leakage situation squared away down in the office, we are now looking into getting some estimates for new flooring, and we're hoping to, it'll be a good opportunity to get in there and clean up and spiff it up and make it a lot nicer down there. And then the other thing is our sign. The sign team has continued to meet, and as I understand it, there's a meeting that's coming up soon with an architect to talk about a potential design. So that continues to move on, and we've got to work with the City of Walnut Creek to try to figure out what our permit situations are. So, but those are still moving along. Oh, look. Now it's time for announcements. So this is going to be quick. Like I told y'all, I'll get y'all out of here. So another reminder, I'm sure most of y'all saw the slides during the service already, but Unity Day at Yala Pleasant Hill is this Tuesday. Anything, if you eat in or take it out, 50% comes back to us. I think last time we made $300 or something that came back to Unity just for us going out for lunch or dinner. So we're going to have that again. Next Sunday is the Unity Youth and Family Ministry Bake Sale for Valentine's Day. Crab feed, y'all have been hearing about the crab feed. The 16th is the last day of ticket sales. Lots of volunteer opportunities. And just as part of our Earth commitment, we are really working hard to make this Earth friendly. So we are going compostable. No more styrofoam plates. We know far more about table covers than you could ever imagine at this point. So that's coming along. Save the date for the volunteer picnic at the end of April, April 26th. We're going to have another community cleanup day in late spring. And then also, if you haven't already, you can renew your Love and Action Pledge. Don't pay attention that the card says 2018. We'll know what you mean. We're using these until they're gone. So we're not throwing them away. So they're going to be, we're not reprinting either. And that's it. Now it's time for Q&A. We can, if you have anything you want to ask of any of us. Yes, Miss Ellen.
Is the new sign going to be just the one here in the front of the parking lot or on the corner also?
We're the one that they're looking for the design team is for the one right here, but we're also considering putting like 2 posts that are right there at the corner, or like a frame where we can hang banners for when we have concerts or the Easter egg hunt or
Okay, good
things
idea.
like that. Carol?
Oh, Reverend Kristen, can you give us an idea of some of the benefits that could be gathered from walking the labyrinth?
Yeah, so the labyrinth
Yep.
The labyrinth can be used as a personal prayer walk. So it's a moving prayer. It has different phases to it where you release as you set an intention, you release as you walk in, you center in the middle, and then you sort of integrate that experience of centering and then move back out into the world once you move out of the labyrinth. So it's a really beautiful, prayerful tool available to us. Brenly and I put one in the backyard, and I could tell you, I don't have to walk it. Just sitting and looking at it, because of the sacred geometry, just really feeds me and gives a sense of peace and order. So even that, just having it here is a blessing. And then also we can use it for ritual. We can use it for community gatherings. And because we've gone with the chart design, we'll have the lunations around, and we'll use those for luminaries and different ways of, maybe solstice celebrations. Prayer chaplains may want to lead some events and ceremonies on it. I think I saw Veronica talking about that in an email. I'm looking for Veronica. I lost her. Oh, there she is. She's standing. So, and actually, well, I'll say that in a minute. Yeah, Danae.
Hold on.
Yes.
So soon the public could come forward.
Right. So another community builder. In fact, our plan is to dedicate it on the day that we have an interfaith celebration here, which is Earth Day. So to really dedicate it as this is available for our whole community.
And love offerings?
Will we take love offerings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of labyrinths have a little donation box out in front, so that's not a bad idea to have a space for people to leave a love offering. Yeah, I think it's a good idea for us to consider that always. Give people the opportunity to give. It's always, yeah. Yes?
One of the things that we did for the lift. Hold on, we're streaming, so I was told we need a microphone. One of the things that we did for the lift, as you recall, is to have a keep the change or save your change or change for the whatever, and that's to just everybody put their silver or the small and I'll make sure that there's a jar out there.
Wonderful.
And then we can do that. That makes it kind of a nightmare for poor Charlene every week, but deal with it.
Rough crowd. I love it. Yeah. Okay, that's a great idea. Thank you. Any other questions about that or about the finances or the other projects that are going on? Any questions for Diana or Carl? Laura?
So I'd like to know just in general what's working and what's not working in terms of organization. Just general keeping kind of things organized, because I've definitely noticed that that's, not always been a strength of Unity's kind of, what do I want to say? A strength of Unity's structure. Like, we have a lot of good ideas, but sometimes not the organization. So just wondering what's working, what's not.
Do you want to take that or you want me to? Here. Yeah, so I'm not sure I can answer your question exactly, Laura. I think we're always looking at how can we better streamline processes, how can we better communicate, how can we receive ideas and make them real. One example is we brought the whole community together in August of 2018 it was, and out of that we started with the idea of how can we generate revenue and just feed our community, where are we headed? And out of that came youth and family summer camps, which we did one last year. It was wildly successful. This year we're doing 3 weeks of summer camp. We also came up with the idea of that making this a real go-to center for spiritual events and concerts and classes. Anybody find that to be true? Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, we are offering so much to the community. So those have actually happened. We took from the strategic planning committee, we took the ideas and really, talked about it a lot with the board, and we decided not to do a written strategic plan, but those ideas are in front of us all the time of the basic, they did a lot of good research to help us point us to, target markets and what to pay attention to. And so those are some examples of things that weren't just an idea session, and that was really important to the board when we put that in, that it wouldn't be just an idea generating session, but it would be one that then formed teams with leaders who ran with it and made it happen. We also have a connections team, as you just heard from, that is still living and breathing and moving and bringing forth great ideas that Jerry just spoke to. So I do think there's a lot of good. If there's some other specific areas that you're feeling like something's, yeah. She's got a follow-up to that.
I just want to say I was so pleasantly surprised, actually, after many years of being here, to see so many things being followed through on. And that's why I was curious as to what's working.
Oh, I see.
And what's being done differently.
Yeah.
So you actually have answered my question. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Yeah, because we're big idea people in Unity. We like to get together and talk, and toss around ideas. And we also have a lot of folks that are willing to say, "I will do that. I'll follow through on that." Or it just emerges organically, as our leaders did in the Labyrinth team. So yeah, a lot of good is happening, and a lot of our community is involved. So we are very grateful for that. We couldn't do it otherwise.
I was going to follow up on that. I think for me the answer is, what's mine to do? And sometimes the answer is like, no, not that one. But really, how can I grow? What can I contribute? And I think that keeps us organized and keeps us growing and moving.
Well, I've got both of them. Do I get to talk twice?
No.
So I would just say that the staff meets every Wednesday morning and the board meets once a month. And if anybody in our merry band has concerns about things that are not happening or something that's nagging at you, let us know, because we take those to heart and we talk about them and we genuinely try and address those issues. So sitting in the back of the sanctuary complaining about it doesn't fix anything. Making us aware of it does. Mm-hmm. So don't hold back.
Yeah, and Felicia and I read all the community or the connection cards. So know that doesn't go just on deaf ears. If you've got something that you're raising that way, we're paying attention to those as well.
The board also loves compliments, so come to the meeting and tell us what's working.
Anything else? Any other questions, Susan? Or comments? You want to come up?
Well, under the theory that a motion to adjourn is always in order, the only thing I really have to say is go Niners.
No, I have to do this.
I didn't wear my big girl boots.
It didn't help me. So if any more questions, comments, feedback?
Hold on.
Hold on. Mike is coming. Mike is coming, Mike.
So you mentioned this, the sign, and then hiring an architect. Does it have to look a particular way?
Well, yeah, City of Walnut Creek has very specific guidelines for how it can look, the design, everything. Size, material, everything. It has to fit in with the neighborhood requirement. Well, and we have to meet a certain standard. Dimitri has done a lot of research, and part of what we're also looking at is to make sure it's a sign that goes with our building, so that we don't have something that's big and spectacular. Not that we're not big and spectacular, but it doesn't go with our building design. Maybe not neon. Although neon would be fun.
Yeah.
No
All right, well,
flashing.
that obliterates my next question, so thank you very much.
Dimitri has pictures if you want. Of samples.
Okay. Anything else? You want to pray us out?
Yes, it's true. We are Midwesterners.
We can all love each other.
Okay, I just want to say
We can
Unity
all
Village
love
is in
each
Kansas
other.
City, or very close. And the Chiefs have not won since 1970. So, you know. She just had to take that risk in a loving community to see what would happen. Veronica, do you want to pray us out, or do you want me to?
Sure.
Thank you. I love it, right on the spot. Oh, and before you do, I just want to acknowledge that Veronica, Bobby, and Susan Monroe are the great trifecta that are leading our prayer chaplain team now together. And Veronica has done some really great work to get it off to a fabulous start for 2020. And we're looking to recruit new prayer chaplains and do a training this year. So I just want to acknowledge you and thank you, Veronica, for stepping in.
So I've already had 3 crying sessions today, so let me pause with that one and invite us all to go in for just a moment and really touch base with the meaning of God in our lives, Spirit in our lives, and the meaning that this center brings to us and what comes through us by our participation and our growth of being here. So the giving and the receiving is understood. It is universal law. It is happening. We are delighted, God, that you see us and join us here and that you work with and through us for the greater community and the greater world. May all go to the highest good for all. Thank you, God. Amen.